Hey, folks, welcome back to the Puzzle in a Thunderstorm State. Nope, it's the Scathing Atheist. Edit. Welcome back to the Scathing Atheist. Stay the fuck home. Live.
Morgan can take care of that.
Yeah, Morgan, just cut all of this shit. Where every week we come in and hang out with you guys. This is probably going to be the last one of these that we're able to do because Eli might just have a baby by this time next Saturday. So we got a ton of great questions, but we also have a guest.
Today, Dr. Pepper.
The official sponsor of
all your questions
Stay the
about
Fucking Home podcast.
But we did bring along a guest this week, and he's not a host or co-host of the show. But if there was a Mount Rushmore of Puzzle in a Thunderstorm entertainment, it would be obviously Eli, Heath, myself, and Lucinda. But if there was a Magnificent Seven, then it would be all of us, and then Anna, right, and then Andrew, and then Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
But if we did like a Brady Bunch, right, with 9 squares, Tim would be obviously the 8th one, but then right in the mid, oh fuck, that'd be Angela.
No, because you want a wild card square.
Well, right, but Angela would go there. You're already on, man. You can have the middle square if you want. But so, okay, no, all right. So if there was a dirty dozen of the Scathing Atheist and Puzzle in a Thunderstorm, it would be Eli, Heath, me, Lucinda, Anna, Andrew, Morgan, Tim, Angelo, Tom, and Cecil, and then Marsh.
Madge.
Sweet 16 would add Thomas and April and Callie. Sorry, Callie, you probably should be way higher up there. Madge, of course. All right, but if there was a top 20 of the Scathing Atheist and Puzzle in a Thunderstorm, it would, no question in my mind, be Eli, and then Heath, and then me, and Lucinda, and Anna, and Andrew, and Morgan, and Tim, and Angelo, and Tom, and Cecil, and Marsh, and Thomas, and April, and Callie, and then Julie, and then Tony D. We actually named a character after him, and Madge, of course.
Loki, Lila.
And then Don Ford, voice of fantasy and adventure, and then Bryce Blankenegel. So, hey, Don, how do you feel to win out against Bryce?
I feel like I smell like soup.
Do you smell like soup?
My shower's been broken and retiled for 4 days.
And you know what? All of our showers have been broken during the pandemic, right? Let's be honest.
Fair enough.
Let's be honest.
Fair enough.
Now, like I said, this may very well be our last live stream. I don't think we're going to be able to do it next Saturday. We'll let you guys know, obviously, if anything changes, or maybe if we are able to have another one where we can introduce you to Baby Bosnick or something like that. So I don't think we're going to probably be doing games. We've got a ton of great questions this week, so we're going to be really focused on that. A lot of the questions that we haven't gotten to in the last few weeks. So, Eli, I'm going to toss it to you for questions. What do you got for us?
All right, done. This question's from Noah, patron Noah, not Noah Lucians. Skills like juggling and magic take a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and a lot of lonely, friendless hours to kill. Does voice work fall in that same category?
You bet your sweet ass. It is a lot of being alone in a room with your own musk and your own thoughts, and not seeing any of your family members until they come down with the crowbar and tell you that you should have been there like 4 days ago or something. I mean, but yes, and ironically, what I needed the most help with when I first started was the actual getting into the industry. Like, I had the talent, and that's what confused.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's what confused my voice actor teacher at first. She's like, well,
too much talent is confusing.
Really, honest. I've had complaints. Talent is too big.
Go ahead, 20.
Hey, 19. 19, Don.
It's all right. I know I'm the consolation prize. It's fine. So yeah, no, it takes a lot of work. You have to audition for a lot of things. You have to be willing to you have to be willing to do a lot of just failing until someone says, no, that's the voice I need. and then you've got your gig. But up until then, it's a lot of, and then, you know, eventually you land something like
A podcast.
Yeah, or gas station owner in a video game. You know, it takes a while, but you get there.
The dream. All right.
That's right.
Here's a question from Maddie B. And this is for everyone, so feel free to chime in if you've got an answer. Of all the people you're casting with, which one would you choose to travel the post-apocalypse America with, and why? And I'm definitely, I'll answer first. I'm going to go with Callie with this one. I mean, the roller derby, they already have the training. We just put some slightly more metallic spikes on the outfit, and I'm good to go. I can ride on the front of their roller derby thing. I can be their blood bag. I have a ton of blood bag. I feel like it would be a really good partnership.
Yeah. So what's funny is I put my name with an answer to this question because Eli would totally be my pick. And remember, Eli, we had this conversation at one time. We were talking about like our like perfect fun road trip buddy. And like, believe we feel that mutually about each other, I think.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. And I will say, I got to live out a percentage of this fantasy because before this, for my very first Reason Con, we road tripped down to it. Me, Noah, Heath, Lucinda, and Andrew all in this crazy van. So all I'm missing in my road trip is Callie and sharing a hotel room with Cecil.
See, I would pick Eli too, but only because like I have a different reason. I feel like he would be the easiest one to outrun, right? Like that's what you want in an apocalypse companion, right?
That's very true.
I'm super altruistic. I'm going to give Callie my blood. Sorry, Callie, but what my fucking handcuffs. You're on roller skates. That's not fair.
What the fuck?
Oh, yeah. All right.
Well, nobody picked me. That's cool. I would like to answer too.
I'm sorry, Heath. Would you rather I picked you?
Heath, I picked you. Heath, I picked you.
Okay. Well,
I picked you, Heath. I picked. Did you hear me? I picked you.
I will choose. Make my choices. No, what was the top 20 again?
Here, wait. I wrote the whole joke down.
Get a branching tree.
All right. Well,
so this is the Mount Rushmore, and then this is the Magnificent Seven, and you got the Brady Bunch.
Okay.
It's a Dirty Dozen.
You see how we parked the kimono for you here on the live stream?
Yeah. I see Eli right at the top, but that's not gonna. Like after going on that van trip, Jesus Christ. So I'm listening to fucking Ace of Base for 9 hours. I don't know how did you get that deep into their catalog? How much? Like I didn't know they existed with that many albums. That was crazy.
In the immortal words of Uncle Mark, I believe it's white power.
Oh,
yeah. Let's
no
make
idea
it
what
mortal.
the context is there, Don. Why don't you give that some context, buddy?
Let's make it mortal. That one's dead.
yeah.
Jesus Christ. That was all right. Anyway, also Eli eats like soybean husks or whatever, so that's not working out. I'd pick Noah. Like Noah and I would have a fun time, but Noah doesn't really eat foods. So I will pick Don Ford and Callie. Absolutely.
There you go.
You know Heath is going to go with two people. You knew Heath was going to
we knew Heath was not going to accept the one answer limitation.
And Tom and Cecil.
Cecil would be my pick, though. If we can pick anybody on that list, come on. Cecil's obviously the guy you want in the apocalypse.
Oh, did you see those brown butter chocolate chip cookies he made?
Oh, those are so good.
Those look amazing.
We talked about this a little bit when Cecil was on the stream a few weeks ago, but Cecil's been putting cooking videos that are from, I guess, the Cogdis cookbook. They're about to put out a cookbook. And they're awesome. And he made brown butter chocolate chip cookie bars that, it was very funny. I texted him and I was like, hey, what's the vegan recipe for them? He texted me back, stay home.
Canola oil. There you go. Asshole.
All right. Got another question here. Anonymous ethicist, not a serial killer at all.
Hey, Don, did you have somebody that you wanted?
Oh, sorry.
Don picked me.
Don picked Heath.
I picked Heath.
Thank you.
Okay,
I also
see?
picked on. We
Yeah.
would have a good road trip.
Oh God, yeah,
You and Callie.
yeah.
Yeah.
We teach you
Gonna be a good time.
Klingon. It'd be great.
I'd teach you both Klingon. Come on.
Oh yeah, well that's true.
We've had this conversation, sir.
I'm pretty
Dude,
sure he
you
just
just
tried
said
to improvise.
Yeah,
And
dude,
so
you just said you had floating
You just don't speak it,
dildos
so you
in
don't
your
know what
bathtub,
it is.
man.
That was yes and in Klingon, everybody.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't actually.
Oh. Now I really want to watch a Klingon improv team. Just like, okay, I need a profession. Who said blood razor? All right. All right. Anonymous ethicist, not a serial killer at all, just asking question, asks, has GAM made your experience watching other movies better or worse?
I wouldn't know. I've never been on GAM.
Oh, that's what an oversight.
I don't think we've done 20 episodes yet. So
True.
for me, so, like it's sometimes better, sometimes worse because of all the movies we watch. Like what it definitely has done, though, it's made my recommended section of Netflix fucking insane. It's like it has no idea. That section collapsed into a wormhole. It doesn't know what the fuck to do. Those algorithms are just like, you want to see Kirk Cameron fuck a math equation? I don't know what you want. I have no idea what you want.
Yeah, that's
I'm in for Kirk Cameron fucking a math equation.
Yeah, I do want to watch that for what it's worth.
That's definitely the case for my Amazon Prime recommendations, because I don't watch anything except GAM movies on Amazon Prime. So I log into Amazon for anything, to buy things, because it's all one system. I log into anything on Amazon now, and they're like, do you want some salt pins and a Bowie knife that the government can't trace?
Are there soft pins?
Salt pills was that word. Was what my mouth was trying to make. Don't worry, we'll clean it up in the edit. Let me retake that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's fine. No one's listening.
All righty. This is a question for me from Tamara. Tamara says, Eli, you and Anna are both artistically inclined and remarkable at what you do. Thank you, Tamara. How might this influence your parenting styles and your dynamic as a family? And yeah, I like this question because it lets me brag about my wife. So everyone in my wife's family has to play an instrument. They get to choose what instrument they play, but like a la Children of Men and Ordinary People, everyone has to play one instrument. And so I'm really excited to incorporate music into my son's life and education so that he can learn to love music the way I did. The way I learned to love music is literally our first car didn't have like a tape player or a CD player. And we didn't like listening to the radio. So my parents would just sing songs with me, call and response on our long car rides. And that was sort of how I, one, learned to sing, and two, learned to like and appreciate music. As Mom said, it ended up with me singing Sisters of Mercy when it was time to name our favorite song in kindergarten. But yeah, I can't wait to incorporate that into my son's life.
What
All right.
instrument do you want Max to play? If you had to pick.
Thank you, because this is so important to me. There's really only two acceptable instruments for a non-musician to play.
Piano. Well, okay. No, I don't know what that means by non-musician. I would say piano.
Piano is one, and guitar is the other. You can be a normal person and play piano, guitar, and it's just a delightful thing you can do. No one's ever like, is that a zither? Like, there's no other instrument that you can just pull out at a party.
That guy taking out a trombone at the party? That's not going to go on.
Yeah.
So on the YouTube comments here, people seem surprised. A lot of people seem surprised that you can sing. I mean, apparently they've never heard the Survey song. Hello.
Yeah.
Do you think you can sing Little Sisters of Mercy for us?
Yeah, come on.
I would love that.
I can't remember Sisters of Mercy.
Two, 3, 4.
Wait, I know what I'll sing. I did my opera solo in high school, so I'm going to do my opera solo. You guys all ready?
Yes, please.
Amarilli e il mio mela non credion del mio amor dolce desio de ser tú, l'amor mío. Thank
That
you.
was wonderful.
See, now you guys made that. That was your fault, people on the. Yeah.
Down in the
It was not
original
going to happen.
Klingon.
It was
Come
not
on.
planned. All of a sudden, that happened.
Cunt, cock. Sorry, John wanted the original Klingon.
I wanted the original Klingon of that opera, please.
All right, Don, got a question for you here. Okay, that's
All right, that I believe is YouTube's first Klingon opera. I don't know that for sure. Say it out loud, I doubt it very seriously.
I was gonna say, I guarantee you,
come on.
it is not YouTube's
Yo,
first
you should
Klingon opera.
you should certainly know
No,
better.
that's the Puzzle in the Thunderstorm Stay the Fuck Home live streams first. Klingon
Yes,
opera.
certainly,
Right,
certainly.
but now we've crossed over into the Klingon opera verse. We've started a feud. It's going to be really terrible. It's a really poisonous space. I didn't want to get in there. All right.
Yeah, I insulted
sorry.
someone's house. This is not going to go well for me.
All right, Don. Two questions from Taru for you. What was your first voice work / the first voices you did besides your own?
Okay, so interesting story about that. I first got started doing voice mimicry with the old Super Mario Brothers Nintendo game. And actually, let's see, I was probably somewhere between 8 and 10. And I would just do all the sound effects for family and friends. And
Wait, is that something that you can still do?
Oh yeah.
You still have you can give us some Mario?
Hell yeah, I can.
Okay. 3, 4.
You're in the pipe. You're in the pipe.
Hell yeah. So that's where I got started doing voice mimicry. And then when I got started doing actual voices was when I started playing, as any good nerd should, Dungeons and Dragons. And I developed voices for characters in that. I started doing stage work in high school. I did voices for that. I did madrigals with my high school where we sang old, what was it, the Renaissance type music. And I did little vignettes for that too. So all through high school, I did lots of artsy stuff. And then once I got into college, I did some improv. And like I said, most of it was just through years and years and years of inventing characters for Dungeons and Dragons, honestly.
Hey, Eli?
Yes.
Follow-up question for you from your mom. She says when you were a kid, you used to imitate household appliances and that you did a hilarious toaster.
Yeah, here's my toaster. You ready? And then my mom was like, let's send that kid to NYU. So, mistakes were made. Follow-up.
Let's put $200,000 into this investment. This is worth it.
Yeah. That toaster's going to go somewhere.
All right, follow-up for you, Don. Which of your voices gets the most laughs?
Okay. With the general public, it would probably be any of the Homestar Runner voices that I do.
Yes.
And with my wife, it's specifically a voice that I invented during my radio show days. And it's a combination of Tim Meadows, the ladies' man, and Mike Tyson, who is a retired porn star. And his name is Nudie Fruitcakes.
He's also a boxer.
He's a wrestler, but not in the standard.
I mean, Mike Tyson.
He is.
They're calling for strong bed in the comments.
Yeah,
Don,
I was just
so you know.
Yeah, we're gonna need some Homestar. That's gonna have to happen.
Let's answer the emails. Okay, this one says, "Dear Strongbad, how are you coming out of the voice of a 40-something-year-old idiot? Yours truly, Dumbface. Hey, strong bad. I bought back your voodoo pot.
Fantastic. All right. Here's a question from Jonathan. Are any of you haunted by a scene from a religious movie that is still incomprehensible to you even today? If so, please dish.
Oh, okay. This is recent. Eli, 2 weeks ago, we recorded an episode about a physicist who invents a time machine, and then it gets hijacked by terrorists, and they use it to go back in time and kill Jesus Christ in order to stop Christianity from happening. Mm-hmm. That part I totally get. That I totally understand. Valid. Like that, how,
obviously,
how you can use time machine.
AD. Yeah.
But the people who made the movie tried to write this whole intricate plot built around the good guys and the bad guys both using the time machine over and over to like keep jumping back a little past the next one and canceling the thing they did. The movie had no fucking idea what was happening by like page 10 of the script. I'm still thinking about it. I'm still occasionally like piecing together in my head, like, okay, so the main guy, number one, we were like numbering them for a while. And like number 4. Okay, so what do you guys think? Everybody's listening here, who's on the call. What if a time machine person? I argued with Eli about this for 2 hours of an episode and then like 5 hours on the phone afterwards. If somebody goes back in time and you're trying to number them in the thing, are they number 2 now once they go back in time, or are they not number 2 until they go back in time, go back to the future, go back in time again?
Stop it! I fucking hate you. I can't, right? Because like it would have to be the first person to do it, right? Like the first person to do it, but from which perspective? Like if you went back in time before me, you would be number 1. But like if I went further back in time than you would, then I become.
Wait, you could steal the one by going back further. Callie, you're making it so confusing now.
Because then what if 3 goes back before 2? No, this is silly. What if
whatever happened to number 19?
2, but 3 doesn't know that, and now they're 4. And they're getting the wrong guy's mail. No, obviously it would be chronologically in the life of the person, of the individual.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
But like, what if I go back in time 20 years and I'm telling someone about it from their perspective? It's different. So then, like, who's numbering?
Just give them all funny names based on mannerisms or things that they wore.
But you would be number 2 at that point. If you go back and talk to Callie of 20 years ago, you'd be number 2 to their number 1.
Yeah, I'm Heath too at that point. Mm-hmm. Eli called me a whore.
Chronologically, in chronologically in the lifetime of the individual, right? Where yes. Whoever's earliest, would be
That's
1.
Heath 2 and Callie 1 at that point.
To be fair, Heath did an absolutely excellent edit of that episode where he cut out a solid 40 minutes of me yelling various numbers at him so that episode made any sense whatsoever. So yeah, there's the magic of editing is if you understood that episode, it was not thanks to me. All right.
This person gets it. Thank you.
Anne has a question. Anne has a question for Don. Don, how did you meet this brave little gang?
Which group?
We're the brave ones. We're brave, Don.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
We're bravely braving the pandemic.
That's okay.
We are brave white guys in podcasting. It's very difficult for us.
Tell me more. That sounds like there's some psychological work that needs to be dug out there, Heath. Why don't you tell me more about that?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Right. How'd I meet them? So I have this tan trench coat and Converse sneakers. And I got a boombox outside Eli's house in the rain and played my strong bad impression over and over again until he finally broke down like they did in Guantanamo. And that's how it all went down.
Well, Don is being modest, but if I may tell the real story, so as you can imagine, invite themselves on our show on a regular basis. And so far, I'm the only person who did it successfully, and we all agree it didn't work out that great. So Don sent me a thing being like, hey, I noticed you're doing Bible-based theater. If you ever need some like help with voice stuff, because I made a joke about like early on in Bible-based theater when it was just the three of us or the four of us doing voices, it was like, there's only three of us. And Don sent me a message on Facebook being like, hey, if you ever need some, like, I actually do voice work. And like, I will always read that message and listen to the thing or see the thing. And usually it's someone like with their phone being like, hi, this is my Ray Comfort. Hello, I am Ray Comfort. Next, Spider-Man. I'm Spider-Man.
Mike Tyson.
But I listened to Don's reel and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is fucking amazing. So I hit him up and I was like, thank you. Yes, come do this. And I mean, the job that he has done on Bible Peace Theater has made it part of what is as wonderful as it's been. It's one of my favorite things we do, and that is in large part because of the brilliance and talent that Don brings to it.
Thank you, sir.
All right, next up, Anastasia asks, I have a question for everyone. The vision that the ultra-conservative Christian right has for the U.S. is a place of intolerance, bigotry, xenophobia, misogyny, and stupidity. I find that I can only take so much before I have to take a breather from it. How do you all cope with immersing yourselves in the nastiness? Does the fact that it's your job make it any easier?
Eli, why don't you take this one?
Yeah, okay. I was like, I went first last time, but then I realized should go in the order that's written. Honestly, it's much easier because it's my job, because I get to come to work and make fun of it with Noah and Heath and others. Because I get to take the power away from those terrible things. It's actually really easy. I don't know how I would handle it not in the context of work, but in the context of work is sort of how I bear it. So it's funny. I often want to dive into that stuff in our work because I know how much easier it's going to make it for someone else to deal with.
Yeah, I think it's a lot easier to ingest all that shit when you don't feel entirely impotent about it, right? Like there's not much that we can do, but at least we have someone to yell to, someone to talk to, someone to voice our frustration and our anger to. And that definitely makes it easier. That's honestly a lot of the reason the show started, is because of, just something to fight back against that impotence, or that impotence that we felt just looking at that shit every day and just screaming to the wall about it.
Oh, remember screaming about how George W. Bush was president and how rough that was?
Yeah. It's still pretty fucking rough.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, torture's
Good
still
times.
real bad.
Yeah.
Like the single most immoral act by Bush, I think, is still the winner, isn't it?
Oh, well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah.
Yeah. Whew. All right. Another one for Don. This is from truly one of my favorite Patreon names. 2 grads, shoot for the moon, keep shooting. I hate the moon so much. It's that and the 7 people at this point who have named themselves that one furry listener. So Don, when did you discover you had a voice of fantasy and adventure? Did you grow into it? And before puberty, did you have a voice of pretend and mild mischief?
I thought you were going to out me as a furry. No, okay. I was always a singer.
Are we going to get you to do some opera for us as well?
I feel like it's
I don't do opera, but
you just said the words, my friend.
Firework, Katy Perry, go.
And baby, you're a firework. Show 'em what you're worth.
Pick up, go.
The stream is downhill. all downhill from here.
All
This is
all
actually
down
the-
here.
The reason that we're stopping it after this week has nothing to do with the baby. It's just totally fun now, you
We
know.
knew that we've been rehearsing
Yeah.
this moment for a year and a half.
Mhm.
We caused COVID.
It was very hard to keep my mouth shut up until now.
No, so yeah, I sang as a prepubescent boy, and then didn't do a whole lot after that until puberty. And then once puberty hit, people kept telling me, you know, you have a face for radio. And that's when I struck out on my fantasy and adventure. Actually, I'll tell you the truth. The fantasy and adventure thing, there's another question about this later, but I might as well go ahead and wrap it up here. And my wife did point out in the chat that I used to talk to myself on the swing set, which is absolutely true. That's where I did some of my best voice work. Thank you. No one was around to appreciate it, as I'm sure Heath understands perfectly, all too well. The fantasy and adventure thing was actually the aforementioned voice teacher's suggestion to make my work stand out. You know, you had people who were the man of 1,000 voices, or the man of da 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 da, or the person who did whatever, and I thought, well, I did most of my stuff through D&D, and so that's when I decided that, oh well, that's fantasy and adventure. I might as well pick that as my name, and then it stuck, and then these three yahoos decided to make fun of it forever, and so now I can't get away.
Yep, you're stuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There is no free will, no self, just memories in a biological machine asks, having just watched a documentary about Julian Schnabel on Netflix, I'm sure I nailed that. It's made Schnabel? It's made me wonder.
Two-syllable word.
It's made me wonder who each of you enjoy in terms of painting and or other visual arts, contemporary, modern, Renaissance, or whatever. Thank you.
Nice. Eli, do you want to take this one? First? I'll go after you.
You go first. You this
All right,
time.
fine. All right, fine. I'm a big fan of Salvador Dali. Big fan. Good stuff. Just like fucking interesting. First time I saw it, I was like, oh wow, that's like unlike all the other paintings in museums I've ever seen. Like, wow, totally different. I'm excited by this instead of bored. I also there's a sculptor named Andy Goldsworthy. I don't know if anybody knows this person. Does amazing stuff that's built into like the forest. It's super cool. So check out Andy Goldsworthy. Highly recommend. And I'm a big fan of Dale Chihuly. Dale Chihuly, the glass blowing, does a lot of mobile, but all glass blowing. Beautiful stuff. Absolutely beautiful stuff. Those are a few of my favorites.
All right. I like anyone who you've ever walked up to a canvas of theirs or a thing of theirs and said, that's not art. I love that.
I fucking hate you. God damn it.
I love Jackson Pollock. I love Agnes Martin. I've recently gotten really into her stuff, which if you Google it is like faint lines on big canvases.
Cool. You're going to have a whole bunch of that on your refrigerator real soon. Get excited, man.
a series of
some amazing modern art you're going to get on your fridge.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really do love a bunch of that sort of abstract visual art stuff. Yeah, I love it.
I think you're lying. I think you're just I don't even think you're an atheist.
He's been playing words with friends with my mom.
I have. That's true.
And Noah's mom.
And my mom.
I was going to say, Noah's mom. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Another one from Two
I was
Grad.
going to answer that.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, jump in.
All right. So I met. This is part of the story of how me and the wife met. We are both big MC Escher fans, and
yes, great answer.
Both of us are big Frank Lloyd Wright fans. So
nice.
That is part of what binds the two of us together.
Nice.
Got like water running up in your house somehow. Like that's cool stuff.
They don't call me fantasy and adventure for nothing, buddy. We got
rising water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I connected them.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Nicely done.
All right. Two Grants, shoot for the moon, keep shooting. I hate the moon so much. Asks, what's the best and worst feedback you've gotten from advertisers on any of the shows? I will take this one.
Will you?
Did we hear
yes.
from Blue Apron this week, by the way?
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
No,
they don't listen to the ads that we just make up. That's the thing. We're completely immune. Number one, they don't advertise for us anymore, but nobody's listening. Like, they listen to the ads they pay for, not the ones they don't. You know, we can say whatever the fuck we want.
I feel like we made some listeners on that Blue Apron staff. I don't know. Maybe. We did not. No.
I wonder about that because I know someone has to listen to our clips. And
They do.
based on the feedback, that is not a person who loves our content. And so I always wonder, like, if someone looks at their daily workload and they're like, okay, I'm doing the cereal ads and I got to do all the scathing ads this week. Craig, you said I wouldn't have to do any more scathing ads. But my favorite feedback we ever got from an advertiser, and I talked about this on the Patreon edition of a show once, is we were doing, I was wearing a beard of bees. It was a Hims ad. And I was wearing a beard of bees, and as is my very funny joke that everyone gets and likes very much, I replaced the sound of bees with the "Is that my daughter" in their clip, which no one pointed out, like, very recently, very few people will get that joke, but I love it so deeply that it is a part of it. And so we got an email back from Hims that was like, please tell the client that they had sound from a movie playing in the background of the ad. It's from a very upsetting, all caps, part of the movie where something bad has happened.
See, somebody got it, Eli. They got it.
And mostly the advertisers will just be like, they love Anna's songs. And for him, wants me to stop talking about dick pills and start talking about hair loss medication. We get that a lot.
That's
hair loss.
But that's podcast wide. That's just like that's something they wanted to do with.
Yeah, it's just on their
image. Because they don't want people, like, look, the whole point is if the Hims package comes and everybody knows it's the dick pills guys, then you know, like, if it's hair loss stuff, people aren't embarrassed. The whole idea of Hims is to take advantage of guys that are too embarrassed to say, hey, here come my dick pills, right?
Mm.
So.
Yeah. Didn't Peroni send us a thing too? Peroni beer.
Oh yeah, because we didn't add a personal endorsement.
Yeah, oh, right. Yeah, I literally said something like Peroni is a refined beer with a beautiful aroma and a crisp, distinctive taste, and some bullshit about the Italian term far niente, which means black. It was. They sent us a complaint being like, you need to make I pronoun statements. It has to be like me, Heath, me, Heath, me now, me, Heath, likes who is speaking now likes the beer Peroni. I like it.
And what I believe we did is that me and Eli came on and go, like, when we drink beer, Eli and I drink nothing but Peroni. I got to tell you, that's our favorite beer that we drink very often.
Also, they said they were going to send me a case of beer, and it never fucking showed up. So, you know,
my favorite is
maybe the country of Italy is on fire, so maybe I'll give them a pat. But still, like, I wish they weren't liars.
It's made by Coors. It's not fucking nice.
Yeah, right. They got some in fucking Denver they can send to me.
Despite the fact that the copy is just them going over and over again. It's made by fucking Coors.
I've read some copy in my day. That's not far off.
Oh, all right. Another one for you, Don.
Did it? I feel like we're skipping Albin's question, and we know Albin personally.
Oh,
did we not? Is there not? Like, I thought I saw a question from Albin earlier. Hold on, I'm scrolling up.
Yeah, this one right here.
Oh, you know what? I did skip over that one. Sorry. So this is a question for everybody from Albin. Have any of you considered moving away from the U.S.? What if money/costs was not an issue?
What's the little island or the artificial island off of the coast of England that we did the citation about? Sealand or something like that, whatever.
Sealand. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I would work.
All right. Well, I mean, I heard there's a national socialist paradise called Sweden that's pretty sweet. National Socialist is the origin of the word Nazi, but like, it's fine. You know, no big deal.
I feel like it's not fine though.
I feel like I'd be fine there. I look like a Nazi.
Well,
it's not fun. Agree.
Yeah.
Ethan Wright coming out strong against Nazis on this live stream, everyone.
It's all you, buddy.
I don't care who
All you,
I
buddy.
offend.
I mean, I was
All you.
legitimately going to say Sweden, but I guess I can't now.
My boy, who is
pretty
in
good
chat, will not shut up about Germany, so that's where he wants
Okay.
to go.
Well, I mean, you know, while we're on this theme,
I was going to say, not sure why you would bring that up now or anything.
Yeah, I don't know why I brought it
apropos
up
of
now.
nothing, Germany is pretty sweet.
Yeah, apropos of nothing.
I mean, like
Western
the UK.
Canada. I'm gonna say Western Canada is up there. Like that's gonna be a nice, like medium tropical climate soon, and I'm into it.
I mean, look, if money's no object, I'm going to fucking New Zealand, right? If money's no object, and I can like fly wherever I want to go, and I can afford to live
Waiheke
there,
Island.
Yeah, I'm going to
Yes.
fucking New Zealand. I mean, they have sane people there.
I mean, I'm just like,
Jacinda Ardern. I love her.
Oh my
so
God.
much.
Amazing.
she's so
She's
great.
so
Yeah.
good.
I mean, anywhere I'm not going to go into like crushing debt, like for breaking my ankle. The bar is that low, honestly. Like any
It's a
place
pretty
with
low bar, but
with a quasi functioning healthcare system,
Yeah.
I'm there. Like I'm not even choosy.
This speaks to the quality of QED. When I think about where I would like leave America and go to, I think of Manchester because I just picture getting to like hang out with Andy and sit there at the bar while he describes schemes and then like be standing behind Marsh making fists while he talks about homeopathy or whatever it is he does. I realize now that I would be a hindrance to Marsh's career, which is kind
you
of
already
ruined
are a
the
hindrance to
band.
March's career.
Yeah.
That's true.
First time we ever invited him on to GAM, it was over for him. Yeah.
But honestly, like England and I have come to I never thought I would say this. I've come to love the city of Manchester.
Interesting.
Yeah. You know that paradise, that go to.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Part of not Europe. Yeah.
we've been challenged to do a live show in Sweden on the chat here on the YouTube chat.
Accepted.
Yeah, like
Boom.
all this international travel that we're doing. Yeah, we'll be
Right,
right
yeah.
over. Yeah. So no, I'll tell you what, you hold your breath.
And as soon as they do it, I'll come too.
Hey, you guys do 5 minutes of social distancing? We'll talk about it, Sweden. How about that?
Oh no.
Yeah, very many countries we can talk shit to, but
Right.
Hey, Sweden made a strong and definite choice.
They committed to the bit.
They committed to the bit.
that's true.
At this
That's
point, their
respectful.
international policy is, come on, you've got to admit this is pretty fun, right?
Come on.
Huh? Oh, you guys are being weird. You're being weird.
We have a city where there's a Ministry of Silly Walks thing in the crosswalk. I mean, it's great. You should come.
All right, done. One
Yep.
for you now from Bill. Fuck, marry, kill. Eli, Noah, Heath.
Mm.
Been thinking about this one all day.
Not surprised.
If you kill me and take me on the post-apocalypse trip, that's a cool answer. I'll just tell you right now.
You're not my kill.
Okay.
Even though you have his permission, I see how it is.
Yeah, even when I have
Yeah.
permission.
You can weekend at Bernie's me all you want.
So swipe up, everybody, to join our
considering
own-
it.
If there's anyone on the call, with a vor fetish, speak up now. Thank you, Eli. I
Hey.
knew you'd get that at least.
Hey,
Just-
no kink shaming. Let's see. So Mary was always Eli
Thank you.
because he would.
Hey, wait a minute. Hold on a second. I fucking math on.
He would make me laugh. An important trait. Noah's my fuck because he has long hair and I can pull it.
Nice.
Wow.
And he knows. And Heath is my going
That's
around.
kill.
Yeah, you're my world tour buddy now, man. You're weekend at Heath every day.
There we go.
I appreciate you changing that math for me last minute there, Heath. We know where that was originally going.
And I guess I just get to watch, which is okay. I'm all right.
Oh,
All of it. All of
You'll
it.
get video. Yeah, you'll get video of the whole thing.
Fuck, marry, kill, hug.
Mm-hmm.
I'll host all three of them on my live stream channel.
Okay, here's one for everybody from Mike. What's the craziest shit you've seen in your local community during the pandemic?
So the governor in Ohio just did one of those like soft reopening type things, and I feel like I stole Heath's answer because last night was the first night, and there were some very, very distressing pictures of the bar, like hipster type district in Cincinnati, literally where Heath lives.
Thousands of people lining the street. They closed down streets to street traffic so that they could just turn them into extra size outdoor restaurants. Theoretically, that was to space it out. But it doesn't matter when you let 1,000 people into your bar. It's just geometrically impossible to space it out at that point. It was nuts.
Yeah, you know, like when all this first started and everybody was like, oh yeah, I watched that show on Netflix and there were 20 people in the same room and it made me feel weird. Like it was that kind of weird, but I knew it was happening in real life this time.
Mm-hmm.
It was so bad. It was terrible.
Well, I mean, that's just what it's been like the entire goddamn time here. So here's an example from just yesterday. So I haven't left my house. I still haven't left my house in, it's been 2 months or something like that now. Lucinda does all the grocery shopping anyway, so I have no real reason to go anywhere. But she was telling me the other day, she goes to Walmart. She's standing in line and this lady is like right up on her ass, 4 inches from her. And another lady walks up, no mask or anything. Another lady walks up right beside her and starts making fun of my wife for wearing a mask. And goes, I don't know who she thinks. That ain't going to keep her from getting nothing, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what she thinks she's doing with that mask on. And she turns to him and she's like, it's not to protect me, it's to protect you. And I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with it on anyway either, yeah, so she backed him the fuck off, but but yeah, I haven't seen any of it. Like, I mean, the traffic outside my house hasn't changed at all. I live fairly near to a pretty busy road, and it's been the same the whole goddamn time.
Lucinda just slowly pulls a varmint hammer out of the hook on the side of her jeans.
Yep. That's it.
She smashes cement with a varmint hammer to get to her varmint hammer like John Wick. I'm thinking I'm back.
Who wants to see a magic trick?
Well, my governor threatened to sue the city over reopening because they weren't going to reopen as soon as he would like.
What?
Unreal.
Oh, all right.
Thanks for asking a super depressing question.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we got a happy one here. So from Whose Peas Her Peas, Whose Peas Her Peas wants to know if I ever went on Penn and Teller's Fool Us, what would I do? And so I've now advised on 2 segments on Fool Us. 2 people who were on the show. I've helped them create the little magic for, but I've saved one for me if I ever get a chance to go on there. And it's not impossible. A boy can dream. So one of the things that I love about Penn and Teller's Fool Us is it's based off of the history of skepticism within the magic community, right? Like Penn and Teller have inherited skepticism from the amazing Randy, who you shouldn't Google, and like Houdini, who started busting the psychics and stuff. And like there's a very heavy tradition of skepticism, and Fool Us grows out of that, right? It grows out of the idea of like magicians busting hoaxsters and con men and stuff like that. And so I would talk about that a little bit, and I would do, it's not mine, but there's a very old method for bending a fork without touching it, like literally without touching it. You put it under a bowl, like all on its own on the table, and that's the one I would do as a sort of tribute to one of the most recent hucksters to get exposed by the magic community, Uri Geller. So, yeah. Which, by the way, if you have not seen that footage, you're on the YouTube already. Just make a separate window and search Uri Geller exposed on Carson, where Johnny Carson's just like, hey, don't touch anything. And he's like,
I'm tired today. I don't know if my magic's too tired.
So sleep.
Eli, if you went on Fooled Us, would you wear clothes? Because I know live appearances.
Yeah, probably. I think I'd come out in my usual like G-string Speedo outfit, and then I'd go and change.
Sounds good.
That tends to be the tradition for me.
All right, good. Works for me.
All right, here's a question. This is for everybody. Have any of you used the lockdown/pandemic as an excuse to get any projects done that you would not have otherwise done?
Wrote a book.
I was gonna say
I don't know. I've just been putting a lot more work into my podcast. There's a bunch of stuff that I've wanted to try to do, like extra time that I've wanted to take to try to do things with like sound design and scoring and stuff like that I haven't really had the chance to do. And like, I don't know, I've been working from home for like a year, so my work life hasn't changed a whole bunch, but like not having roller derby gives me extra time. And so for me, it's just like trying new things on the show and trying to like work on my time management skills, which are not great. So like, I don't know, there's probably cooler answers.
I wrote a podcast script for the first episode of a podcast that's coming.
Excellent. Well, so for us, I mean, there hasn't been time off, right? So Heath, Eli, and myself, we've just actually taken on more of a workload doing this, and then extra episodes and stuff. And of course, we're trying to get ahead on GAM for when Baby Bosnick shows up. So we have not had any additional time. If anything, we've had a lot less time. And then of course, I wrote a book in that time, which, by the way, if anybody's got any ideas for titles, we still haven't settled on anything. So we have a contest, name the book, and I'll send you a signed copy of first edition when we get it. But it's a book about, how religion exacerbated the pandemic. So if you got pandemic, set the bar high when it comes to titles, I'm going to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
It's so good. Noah's not allowed to say it. I'm allowed to say it because I read it. It's so good. It's so good.
I thought you were talking about Plandemic at first.
It's Noah's book is as good as Plandemic is bad. It's the highest praise I could give it.
As much as I love Gamdemic, there it's on in the chat.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
inside jokes don't work. Sorry.
Yeah, not exactly. I haven't done like a stand. I get the question is like, hey, have you written a book? But I've been going crazy with meatloaf. I've been like a mad scientist with meatloaf, making different stuff. What I did, I ordered, I went to butcherbox.com/godawful and I ordered some stuff, and it comes with free ground beef in every order, like for life, for the life of the time that you get their boxes, they send you ground beef. So I've always had some of that extra, and I was like, all right, let me experiment with me. And I've been putting like part breakfast sausage, part ground beef, or part like pork, lamb, and beef, doing like combos in there, getting bacon in there. I got like 5 different hot sauces that I've done some experiments with. Always crack some eggs in there. And okay, here's my key. I've been doing breadcrumbs is pretty standard. You put some breadcrumbs in meatloaf. I've been doing pork rind breadcrumbs, which which it's like similar consistency, but it's made of pork rinds instead of bread, and it's so fucking
that's incredible.
Yeah.
When are you coming to cook at my house?
Oh, I'm there.
Okay. So food related project. Actually, last night I got maybe the highest I've ever been in my life, and I cooked half a pound of bacon to go with s'mores ice cream. And it was incredible.
Holy shit.
It was incredible.
Half a pound?
Yes. And I had, as a matter of fact, I haven't even took it to the kitchen yet. The bacon was in here, and I had the pint of ice cream next to it. And it's like, bite of bacon, bite of ice cream.
That sounds so amazing.
It was the greatest, and got like halfway through the new season of She-Ra. Super psyched about it. Yeah, so good.
Whew. All right. Well, with that delicious question, let's move forward. All right, Christine, question for you, Don. Can you please give us your best Noah, Heath, and Eli impersonations?
And can I add to that? Can I add to that potentially your best
Hi,
Lucinda
Lucinda.
impersonation as well?
Yeah.
Wait. Let me put her on. Let me put her on so she can hear you guys.
Sure.
All right. So Eli has just asked Don to do his best Noah, Heath, Eli impersonations, and I'm asking for some Lucinda love too.
All right.
I feel like he's already doing a Heath.
No, go fuck yourself.
Oh, he's doing a Noah. Okay.
I have far too much respect for these people. Okay, some of these people. Okay, one of these people. Sometimes. This is one of those times.
All right.
No.
Are we really not going to get it?
The classic
So,
improv.
okay, so Eli, why don't you do your best impression of Don Ford, voice of fantasy and adventure?
This is Don Ford, voice of fantasy and
I thought you was just going to sit there silent.
And
for a
this
second.
is Eli Bosnick, and
See?
oh my God.
That's great. That's a good name.
Well, if you
Yeah.
like crappy
No,
movies.
so somebody in the chat just pointed out that Lucinda's the same height as I am when I'm sitting down when she's standing up. Yeah, she is. She really is that tiny. That's not like a trick of the. Hold on, I gotta take this out. That's not like a trick of the angle or anything. That's legit.
I'm little.
I ain't you got
Say
a varmint
something.
hammer, so go fuck yourself.
That's a great Lucinda. Love it.
Thank you.
Excellent. Now you got to do Heath.
I mean, I feel like you want me to do Heath, but like there's well, hold on a second, I gotta go get a caramel.
Picture perfect Heath.
I mean, he
I-
even doesn't have anything on his fucking walls.
He's been
Nailed
studying
it.
that from deep cover.
Perfect.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Perfect.
See?
I am
nailed
gonna
it.
boot. I'm gonna boot you from the fucking stream if you don't do your Callie Wright impression, though.
I got no one to hug.
Oh, that's excellent.
Oh, that was so wholesome. Oh,
Wholesome.
that was good. That was
Very,
good.
very wholesome.
Nicely done.
All right. Here's one from The Good Crabs.
He's quit
what-
the show, they say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just
I've
gonna-
replaced Heath. Yes, finally.
The spotlight.
Everything's coming up,
That
Millhouse.
free profit.
All right. This one is from The Good Crabs. What are your favorite media sources besides The Friendly Atheist, of course?
I guess honestly, the Washington Post probably is where I wind up the most often.
I do a lot of NPR.
Yeah, I like Vox.
Yeah, Fox has some good like they go a little in depth on shit from now and again. They have some good shit.
Yeah, well, their whole brand is like explanatory journalism and like explaining
Yeah.
things. They have a daily podcast that's really, really good.
Yes.
Today Explained, so good.
Great show.
I like The New Yorker. So
Yeah, good answer. Good answer.
Yeah.
they sponsored the show, and so I signed up because I was like, oh, that's actually a really good deal. And mostly what I read is the fiction and the restaurant reviews. I've been reading the restaurant reviews to my unborn son when he kicks Anna a lot because my voice tends to calm him down. But because we have it and we have the app on our iPad, I ended up reading, most of it. And I love how in depth a lot of their reporting is. They've come out with some really, really interesting and good stuff.
Heath, what do you think?
Well, I can't pick just one. Let me think. One that hasn't been said.
Nicely done.
Fantastic. All right. From Chartreuse. Chartreuse wants to know, if you were a superhero, what would your superpower be?
Okay, can I answer this first?
Oh,
I
absolutely.
literally was going to be like, Noah, I know you have thought of this and you have like a 7-tiered ranked position thing.
Okay, so I'm not going to tell you what my power. Well, I will because that was Chartreuse' question. But here's what my power wouldn't be. It wouldn't be fucking flying, right? Everybody says they'd be flying. That's a shit power, I'm sorry. That's an absolute shit fucking power. Flying is no god. It'd be fun for a few days or something like that, but it's useless. I mean, when you compare it to like telekinesis, teleportation, something like that you could actually do something with, invisibility at least, something like that. Like flying, like where would you put your fucking arms? Right? I mean, you'd have to you're gonna do. How long are you gonna do this? You're gonna look stupid if you're flying around like this.
That's a fair question.
Sorry, I hit my microphone there, so apologies.
You have strong feelings. It's obvious.
I do.
Yeah,
It's shit. I would go telekinesis. That's the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Callie?
I think I'd just do. I'd be Magneto from X-Men. I think.
Ooh.
Because
so you would wait. No, hold on a second. Because I have telekinesis. So you would go with limited what I get. Why not go all the way? Why not just be able to also move non-metal objects?
No, that's a good point. I guess because I've always thought about what superhero would I be, not necessarily what particular superpower I would have. Telekinesis makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
But Nazi Hunter is a pretty cool backstory.
Yeah.
That's a good pick
Also,
for that reason.
The advantage to Magneto is every time he uses his powers, you go that's neat. You did the metal in the guy's drink and then you pulled it out. All right.
The metal in the guy's drink, is that what you said?
Yeah, it's one of the X-Men movies. Mm-hmm. They inject him with some metal, and then Magneto's and then
there was metal in the drink.
No, I was actually referencing a comic book where Magneto puts metal in someone's drink, and then he pulls it out.
For that one, Eli, you had a chance.
Ooh, nerd.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that was a reference we all obviously understood.
Keith,
I did get that one.
Keith, what about you?
Doctor Strange.
Interesting magic with a K.
Matt, the portal things and the time dimension stuff. I have the time stone also during this, by the way.
Yeah, because that's the closest to wishing for more wishes that you can get with this question.
Yeah. Win the game.
It's funny. What they've done with him in Marvel is so different than who he is in the comic books. It's a really interesting adjustment to that character. I don't dislike the Marvel version. I don't love the comic book version, so it's really interesting. Andrea, well played. Well played and fair, Andrea. Oh, all right. Don, what superpower would you go with?
I'm sending it to you right now. No, I'd totally go Professor X.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a great pick.
But wouldn't you because I've thought about this, because I've thought about telepathy as, as a great power to have. But I'd have lots of questions about how much control over that I would have. Because obviously
I'm not going Jean Grey.
Just random telepathy.
Yeah, I'm not going Jean Grey. I'm just gonna, Professor X is the next tier under her, and and I've already got the hair, so
Right? Yeah, nothing to lose.
I would go with
Walking
is it's overrated.
I would go with Quicksilver, especially Marvel Universe, super overpowered Quicksilver, where the house is about to explode, and I'm let me just put my sunglasses into midair because that's how fastness works. All right, Andrea, let's move on to the next question. Andrea, getting a one-person roast over here from Andrea. All right. Here's one from Christine. With Heath liking gourmet food, Noah claiming to have the palate of a 6-year-old, and Eli being a vegan, how do you decide where to go for dinner when you're all in the same place?
As someone who has heard so many of these stories.
So Eli literally makes a spreadsheet when we do this. He literally makes a fucking spreadsheet, and he's actually super cool about most of it being food that restaurants that have edible ingredients, enjoyable foods at their restaurant of food. We usually do one serious dinner, during a trip. We'll do one in particular. So several times I've had this great restaurant happen. We're all there. The waiter comes out and explains oh, here's your Wagyu steak, and we made the cows in the back right now. It's a cow that we have cows in the they're getting blown. There's cows getting blowjobs their entire lives until they die. We kill them. Then there's a funeral. they bring it out and they hand it to us, and then they're like, "And for the vegan, here's your fucking ball of cabbage. There you go." And he throws it at Eli. Eli gets a little bit injured, glass breaks somehow.
Point of order: how are the female cows getting blowjobs?
You can blow a female.
Oh, okay.
Nailed it.
I'll explain later.
All right, thank you.
They have the little thing.
Oh yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Noah,
so
Noah
it's
gets
very
me.
easy to.
Noah gets
Come
me.
on, come on.
Generally, my strategy is this, because it's interesting. Noah says that his palate's of a 6-year-old, but that's not true, because like I took Noah to an Asian fusion place once where they had like squid ink pasta, and Noah was like, "This is fucking great." Like, you have to get exactly the right zone of Noah's food tastes, which is difficult.
I believe that zone was we have an ounce of pot that we have to smoke before we leave Seattle. Let's do that now. And then we went to that restaurant.
No, this was in New York. He's talking about a place we went to in New York. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah,
the place.
although
It
the
was fucking
Seattle
awesome.
one was true. The Seattle one
Oh,
was
yeah.
actually that case where we did go to like a fancy Asian fusion place, and Noah was just like, "I have to rid us of all of this." It was the Noah doing what Heath does for food of marijuana. It was pretty excellent.
Noah, when I come to a live show, we will go someplace that serves gravy so you can get away from these two.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. I do like some gravy, fried gravy.
Mm.
I've lived down south for a while. No, and I should point out, like, so I'm such a bitch about this stuff because I don't own a suit and tie, or I do. I have one. I bought one for Eli's wedding because I was in the
That was a
wedding
good
party.
suit. You were looking sharp.
Yeah, you look great.
I liked it. But that's the one suit that I have, and like when somebody dies, I'll get another suit, right? So like all of these restaurants they go to that are super fancy, where you have to dress up, I don't go to those. I skip out on those dinners, and then I also skip out on a lot of the other ones too. And then I go to like Hardee's or something.
Nothing wrong with that.
Because that'll be near the hotel that we're at.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's often how it works out as well. Is that the 2 or the 3 foodies, Heath and Eli and Anna, will go somewhere, and often they'll take my wife along with them if she wants to go eat fancy or whatever. But I normally skip out on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I tend to, and then I drag Anna to one vegan meal, whatever city we go to. I take her to like Thistleberries, where we only everything's raw macro there, and no one's looked at anything. The cow's getting the blowjobs at the other restaurant. They're not allowed to look at this restaurant because that's violent. It's a good time. All right.
Dirt
Excellent.
Candy was good though.
Dirt Candy
in
Excellent.
New York, real good vegan place.
Vegetarian,
pretty amazing.
vegan place. But
Yeah.
if we had brought Noah there, he would have put the waiter in a headlock and been like, "Say tomato straw again. Say tomato straw like you're saying a food again."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why are you crying? All right. All right. This is for Don and me. How many distinct voices can you do? How hard is it to switch between them? Are there things that make that easier?
I mean, I don't know how many I do.
But I'll tell you how to switch between them. It's actually very easy.
If you've learned how to do this for a living and you know how it's done, and it just sort of rolls. You practice it.
Oh yeah, like you do.
Like you do.
Like you do.
Yeah.
Maurice LaMarche said on a podcast once that all voices are just bad impersonations.
Oh, yes.
And that's definitely the Eli school of voices. This is just me attempting to do whatever voice I think I'm doing. And hey, the fun fact is when you miss an impersonation, you land on a voice.
That's right.
But I certainly haven't counted them. Although I will say for D&D minus, as I've been inventing characters and having to give them singular voices, I have Post-it notes on the computer that I put around with like key phrases so that I can remember like what someone sounds like in case they suddenly talk to them or they have to say something that I haven't scripted out or written out. And I have to practice them when Anna's not around because the characters are surprises for her. So like when Umberlee's, yeah, that's been released. So like Umberlee, I knew that I wanted Umberly to be a Kraken literally when we started the show. I was like, oh, this turn where Umberly turns out to be a Kraken is going to be a thing. So like Anna would go out to do the garbage and I would be sitting in the living room going, I'll tell you right now what I wanted to, just like attempting to do my best Umberly.
Oh, this is fantastic. I'm going to somehow ask like Floonpoff and Umberly to do like a rap duet as soon as possible.
Yes.
I like Floonpoff because Floonpoff is me trying to do it's my bad impersonation of the super ego sketch. How British am I? They do there's the thing where the guy plays M and he's like, Bond, how British am I? It's just me doing my impersonation of that voice for Floonpoff. All right. Tony asks, and I feel like I know who's going to come through with this one. Favorite pinball machine growing up?
Yeah, okay, so this one came from a conversation that Tony and I had on Facebook the other day. We were talking about the arcade era of games and whatnot. I would say Addams Family, like top notch, great fucking pinball game. Absolutely stands up. It's still fun as all hell. But when I was a kid, I think I don't think that was around as much. So there was one that at the local arcade, and that's what it was, right? Like your favorite pinball when you lived in a small town, like I did in the 80s and early 90s, was like one of the four that they had at your local arcade, right? So it was a game called Earthshaker. It was was it Earthshaker? Something like that, and it was a earthquake based game. And I got really it was the one that I got really fucking good at. So yeah, that would have been mine. But now I would say if you take me to a pinball bar or whatever, the first place I'm going to go is Addams Family.
It's been mentioned in the comments, but I want to throw this out there. Kiss. Excellent, excellent pinball machine.
I whipped mortal ass at Kiss in front of all these guys and made a pinball god of myself. So
he literally survived so long we had to ask him to stop because our dinner reservation on one quarter. Not like Noah lined up a bunch of quarters. Nor we were like, oh, we got 30 minutes, and Noah was like, can I play some pinball? And I was like, yeah, sure, if you want to play 3 minutes of pinball. And then they were like, okay, the restaurant is closing. And
we were at Guitar Center at like 1 PM.
That's right.
Trying to get one thing that we needed for a live show that we forgot or whatever it was. And the dinner reservation did come up. So I don't know how that happened, but it was like the middle of the day. Yeah.
I remember as a kid, the first time I realized that Star Trek The Next Generation was a thing that existed in culture was when I saw there was a pinball machine for it. I'm pretty sure at the time, like I had seen the Addams Family, I'd seen the Simpsons one, there was an X-Men one, and like I thought Star Trek was a thing that was like, oh, this is on TV at 10 o'clock at night. There's probably no one who actually knows what this is. And then I remember going to an arcade and seeing the Next Gen pinball machine, and I was like, oh my God, there are other people who like this.
We've made it.
Yeah, so like I don't even know if it's a good game. I'm not a pinball aficionado or anything like that, but
it's all right.
See, Andrea, this is what you got. You move us away from video games, we wind up here. Are you happy or superheroes rather? Superheroes, we'll wind up in video games next. Yeah.
They seem perfectly happy.
Pinbot, I kicked ass at Pinbot.
Oh, Pinbot's pretty fucking sweet.
All right. Excellent. All right. Firkin Sturf asks, Don, who are your voice acting influences? And everyone else, who is your favorite voice actor besides Don?
I thought somebody was going to interrupt me here, but
I mean, he said the question was to you. Please keep
okay. Yeah. So everyone, this is easy. Everyone in Animaniacs is absolutely Rob Paulson, Maurice LaMarche, Jess Harnell, Rob Paulson,
Billy West.
Billy West, thank you. John DiMaggio. Him, not so much. He's not so much an icon for me. Another one that I grew up with, Don Messick, huge. Frank Welker, huge.
Frank Welker, yeah.
But yeah, those are my big go-tos for inspiration for my voice acting.
Yeah, I was gonna say Maurice LaMarche. Maurice LaMarche has a podcast called Talking Tunes or Talkin' Tunes. I forget what it is.
No, that's Rob Paulson.
No, that's Rob Paulson. Sorry.
Yeah.
But Maurice is on it on a pretty regular basis.
Oh, yes.
And the I don't listen to it as much anymore, but I used to be a pretty avid listener of the Nerdist podcast. And if you don't mind going back into the archives, the episode of the Nerdist podcast with, I believe it's Rob Paulson and Maurice LaMarche, where they're just talking as their characters back and forth. And Maurice LaMarche does his bit as Orson Welles yelling at the sound tech for the Frozen Peas commercial. It's really, Maurice LaMarche doing it is funnier than the Orson Welles clip. But hey, while you are YouTubing Uri Geller being exposed on national television, just YouTube Orson Welles Frozen Peas. It is, he's just losing his shit over this badly written Frozen Peas copy.
These peas have come from the heart of America.
I don't know if I'm not an aficionado or anything like that. I just know that Justin Roiland voices a lot of characters that I like. Between Rick and Morty and Adventure Time and
nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say H. Sean Benjamin also.
Yeah.
H. Sean Benjamin, Archer, home movies.
That one Star Trek short trek that he's in.
Yes.
He's strong. And speaking of cartoons, Mel Blanc. So good.
Of course,
Bugs Bunny and Daffy, like forever.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was absolutely my answer there. Yeah.
Quick podcast recommendation. If you've not heard the show 20,000 Hertz, they did 2 episodes about Mel Blanc. And it is incredible.
Nice.
Oh,
one other one, Alex Borstein. I'm a huge
she's excellent.
Lois Griffin. I love her in Mrs. Maisel as Susie.
Yes.
She's so good as not just a voice actor, as on-screen actor. She's so good. Yeah.
And who was I going to say? Oh, this one's for my boy who's in chat. I think I'm going to get their name wrong, but it's not. Is it Alex Hirsch? Let's see. Yeah, Alex Hirsch. He did. He's the writer and a couple of the leads on a Disney show called Gravity Falls, which is one of our favorites.
Gravity Falls is excellent.
Oh my God, I have not seen a better scripted animated show in my life. That show is amazing.
It's very funny. Me and Anna, if we fall or drop something around the house, go, tell my story. Just a running joke from Gravity Falls. There's a lot of amazing cartoons out there right now. All right. Question from Ashley for everybody. Slightly bizarre question, I admit, but but what is your favorite part of the Bible? If you have one. Was just wondering if there was a part that you might consider qualitatively okay or not.
Oh, I'm gonna say the part with the murder hornets. I gotta admit they nailed it. They pretty much nailed it. That's pretty strong. No.
My opinion of the Bible is like, if it was the holy text in a fictional universe that I enjoyed, I would think like, oh, whoever wrote that like had a way with words, maybe. Like there's some parts of Psalms that are cool, like the parts where it talks about love and that kind of stuff. So like, yeah, I mean, if I had to pick one, that's cool, but like I don't know, there's better places.
Well, so the thing about that though is that you've got to consider that all the greatest writers, for generation after generation had nothing to do but improve the verbiage of the Bible, right?
That's
so
fair.
whatever the work would have ended up with a lot of that stuff on it or in it eventually. I mean, yeah, there's some good shit here and there, like a book that long that was added to by so many people over such a long period. There's some good shit in Ecclesiastes. There's a few parables that are okay or even downright good in the New Testament here and there. But, I almost want to reject the question because cherry picking the good in that otherwise terrible fucking book seems like we're doing such a huge favor to the believers in it that, that is undeserved. There are so many people already trying to pump up this terrible book full of genocide and shit. I don't know that atheists really have any obligation to point out, well, Ecclesiastes is okay, and there's parts of Psalms that don't tell you to whack babies against rocks. So that's
yeah, right. If there was this like beautiful poem in the middle of Mein Kampf, we wouldn't be like, hey, you know what? The second chapter had this sweet poem.
And if somebody said, "What's your favorite part of Mein Kampf?" you'd be like, "Jesus fucking Christ, what's wrong with you?" Right? So, no offense to the person asking the question, but I get that a lot. I get that periodically. Some reporter will write to me, will email me like, "Oh, you're a public atheist. What's your favorite part of the Bible?" I'm like, no, I'm not playing a bullshit game.
Yeah, that's fair.
What's your favorite part of fucking, I don't know, any other book? What's your fucking favorite part of the theory of evolution?
Your favorite part is the end.
Right. Well, I always give the snarky answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I do think you get, like just the way that, how like bubble wrap makes you happy? That's the way it feels when you smash the heads of the babies against the rocks. That's bubble wrap thing. It's wrong. It's a waste of bubble wrap.
I like to play a prank with this question, which is not the Ezekiel one, although the Ezekiel one's great. You get the donkey dicks in there. That's good. But the psalm before "Happy is he who smashes the heads of infants against the rocks" is really beautiful and lovely. So I refer people to that one, and I say that one's good, but the one after it is way better. Because I know they'll read that one and they'll be like, yeah, one does love a brother as themselves, or whatever the line is. And then it's like, you got to kill the babies like right away. Like, right away. All right. Fantastic. Okay, here's a good one. This is from Dr. James Devine. Has a question for me and maybe Noah. How did you get into magic? I assume juggling / magic.
Yeah, I never got into magic. So.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that first question to Don really encapsulated my answer. I had no friends for a really long time, and I had a lot of time to kill. It's one of those kind of hobbies where, you have to have a lot of empty time on your hand where you're like, what can I do with this time?
Magic is honestly wrong direction. These are all the magic books. Magic was a similar reason. So when I went to NYU, we weren't allowed to be in shows. They've changed that since then, but you weren't allowed to be in any shows. You could only do your scene work. And I had been in a show consistently all the time since I was literally 3 or 4 years old. So I was going stir crazy at the idea of not having rehearsal.
You couldn't be. Oh, you mean you couldn't be in shows for freshman year?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was like, you must have been performing, right? Okay.
No, you were only allowed to do your scene work, and the idea was like to focus students, but they've since gotten rid of that policy. And a friend at the studio where I was studying showed me a card trick and showed me how it was done, and I stole the book, a book on magic from the library, which is not here because I constantly loan it out. But I stole Mark Wilson's Complete Course in Magic, which is a very old, very thick book, and just went through the whole thing and just fell in love with it and found a community of artists there that I really loved. And it's been an absolutely wonderful hobby for me. Like I have gotten to meet so many wonderful people and have such tons and tons of fun with it.
Honestly, Eli, if you don't mind, I want to springboard a little bit off of that, what you said about finding a community there that you really liked, because I fell in love with juggling when I was in a small town by myself. I didn't meet another juggler until I was like, I had been doing it for 4 or 5 years and I'd gotten pretty good at it. And, this was pre-internet. So, I didn't really, but pre-ubiquity of internet. So I couldn't really use the internet to find other jugglers. Or communicate with them. And when I finally did meet jugglers, they were a bunch of assholes, and it killed my love for juggling. And so I bring that up because, obviously that comes up again and again in atheism, how important it is to have a good community and how much it matters that we be a welcoming community. Because obviously, people aren't going to decide to believe in God because they don't like the atheist community, but they are going to decide to put their activism elsewhere or put their enthusiasm elsewhere or whatever. And I just think that's a great contrast, like that Eli says, when I got into magic, I found a great community. And so of course he's dedicated his life to it in so many ways, and he's still a big part of it. Even now that he makes his living in a different way, he still like keeps one foot very firmly in the magical universe or the magic world. Whereas for me, juggling is just a thing I used to do. You know, I still bust out my juggling stuff once in a while, but I have no desire to go to like juggling conventions or whatever, because the community has just always been a bunch of assholes in my experience.
I actually got into it in revised, late revised. But by the time I got to Fallen Legends, I was pretty much hooked.
I have both of those sets.
The fork channel fireball combo is
That's an amazing.
exactly why
It's an
I
amazing
stayed
combo.
in as long as I did.
I literally have those cards from revised and maybe
I
some from
won.
unlimited. Yeah.
Back when people still anteed, I won a rock hydra from a kid who started to cry.
This was last week.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. The kid, yeah.
And made me re-ante the rock hydra against anything I wanted, and I picked his what was the
Chaos Orb.
no,
Black
what was
Lotus.
the shapeshifter one? The blue shapeshifter that could turn
The
into
Vesuvian
anything.
doppelganger.
Vesuvian doppelganger. And he had
Yes.
one of those, and I made him do that, and I won that one too.
Nice.
And his mom was going to
Based.
write me a blank check, and I said no, and I took the cards and I ran to my grandparents' house
Take that
Last
back.
week.
Okay.
last week.
Weird turn. Can I tell you, I had a horrifying moment. It's not what happened, but I had a horrifying moment just now when Don started to talk about how he got into Magic the Gathering. He was using a nasal voice, and I thought you were making fun of Noah's answer. Like you were doing a mean Noah impersonation. And I was just like, oh, I get to watch Don die on stream. What a strange choice for Don to make. There are such less painful ways to commit suicide here on the internet.
Allow me to commit seppuku.
All right. Question from Chartreuse. What one thing do you wish would come back into fashion?
Ooh.
Eddie Murphy's purple suit from Raw. Absolutely. His comedy needs to never ever come back ever. But that's and the red leather one from Delirious. Those fucking Eddie Murphy suits, they come back. I'm like, I don't have any Baker buckets, but like my basement is prepped when that happens. When these things come back, I'm good.
I gotta say, that sentence was also very terrifying for me when he said Eddie Murphy, and I was like, "Oh, and
What's happening?
it's right there on the top corner." Oh no, it's all been broken, everybody. Sorry, the hard drives are down.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy and just about every other comedian from any time that isn't like last year. It's rough if you go back a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Never go back.
So I would go, and I know Edna Mold ruined this for me forever, but capes. Man, capes are the best. I know the no capes thing or whatever, but like,
is there a no capes thing?
Edna Mold for the Incredibles. No capes.
No capes? I'm not.
Right.
Okay, so I saw the Incredibles. I'm not clear on. Okay.
The Incredibles is like the greatest superhero movie of all
I love
time.
that movie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But she does the whole like no capes because they always get caught on shit and you get sucked into engines and shit like that.
Oh yeah, okay, that's valid.
Right. But a cape is an amazing garment. It's like a jacket. You throw it over your shoulders. You're a little bit warmer. It's like it looks cool. You can hide weapons from below it, so you draw on your knife and they're not even aware yet. You can do like the crazy flare. You can go one shoulder off, one shoulder on, which is like putting your leg out of the covers, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't
know why Noah doesn't like me. That's a perfect answer.
Yeah. I think if a cape would come, if someone cool brought capes back, I think like I would be like the first. Like I would probably ruin it. I'd have to like time it right because when like middle-aged white guy starts doing it, that ruins it for everybody else. So I'd want to like cultivate it as it happens so that at least there would be some amount of time where I could do
You
public
can borrow
cape.
my child. I think my child would be on board.
Okay.
You can borrow my child.
We have several listeners who have come to shows and or events in capes, so you would be accepted by our community. If you
No, that's true. That's true. If anybody's gonna dig on my cape,
I'm gonna say monocles.
Yes.
Oh.
nice.
Excellent, Mr. Peanut Monopoly guy. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I want DeLoreans back.
Whoa, that's an
Okay.
excellent one.
Okay.
Any of the cars where they open up like, yeah.
Gold
It
wing
makes
door?
more
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
sense, though, right? Like ultimately, it takes up less room to open your fucking door,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? You can park.
Well,
closer
I mean,
to
it
people.
depends. Like, I mean, height is a problem sometimes in garages.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I still want DeLorean.
But it's a problem less often than width.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Width
That's
is
fair.
almost always a problem.
Yeah, that's fair.
I believe I know somebody who bought a DeLorean with the money they made on those stupid little fucking worms on a piece of fishing line. Pretty sure that happened. Yeah.
Wow.
Very disappointing.
I don't think anyone has hostility to those worms on fishing line in the same way that you
No.
and Noah and
There's
I
no
do.
way. There's no way anybody hates those fucking things
For,
as much as I do.
So,
For clarity,
yeah, no, just
Go ahead, Noah.
let me put some fucking context to this.
It
So
doesn't
we
need
worked
any
in a toy
context.
store
Still tell the story.
where Eli's selling magic, and it's shitty magic tricks, but he's a magician who's dedicated an enormous amount of his life to making shitty tricks look good. Right, Heath and I are selling a toy that it requires, like you can learn it very easily, but there's like a master level of it that you can achieve with hundreds of hours of practice that we had achieved. We were like at the top of the world at it, and it was something that we'd really dedicated ourselves to, and we would consistently get shown up on sales by this goddamn the Squirmel. It's this little fucking piece of belly button lint on a piece of invisible thread, and they would like play with it, and everybody wouldn't realize it was on a piece of fucking invisible thread, so they'd buy it thinking it was going to do something, and then they'd realize it was on invisible thread, and they'd be like, man, fuck, it only cost $4.99, so I'd feel like a cheapskate returning it. And that was their business model. And we would get shown up by that thing over and over and over again. And so, of course, we hate that thing.
Yeah. It was also, Squirmels were karmic justice for us because, like, the thing that Noah and Heath sold was really cool and you had to learn it, but they did it really well and, like, they would have literal groupies that would, like, hang out and play with them. And, like, it was a huge, really cool thing. And then my company came in with our light up thumbs and we were like, what if you didn't want to learn to do a thing? And it was kind of not nice of us. But then karmically Squirmels came around and they were like, we'll lie to you and say they're light up thumbs, but it's actually a string. And I was like, oh, this is what it must have been like. Okay, I get it. To be fair, you could do the light up thumbs. You just had to squeeze them. They weren't very good, but they lit up.
They did light up, and the batteries on those lasted for minutes on end.
Minutes at a time.
Quality product.
And they were almost replaceable. I mean, if you carved into it with a scalpel, you could probably replace that battery and get more use out of it.
I literally remember my grandma warning me away from people like you at the flea market.
Yep, that's
Good
for
morning.
the best.
Good on Grandma.
But look, I think we could, if we could unite with our brothers and sisters and our non-binary identifying people in Squirmel, we all agree fuck Fujigi, right? I think we can all agree fuck Fujigi. Together as one, we can hold
But
hands.
contact juggling is awesome.
Yeah, contact juggling is awesome. Fuck Fujigi.
Yeah. Michael Motion's awesome. I'm
Hang
going to
on.
add that to my favorite visual artist list. Michael Motion.
Contact juggling.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't seen contact juggling?
Did you ever see Labyrinth?
I have.
You remember where he's got the like
one of
crystal
you
balls
do
and
it.
he's doing
Do
the
the
crystal
thing.
ball?
You know how to do it. Do it.
He's doing the crystal ball thing. I bet Noah's got a contact juggling ball.
Yeah,
like,
I was
in the
going to
room.
say, someone do it.
Oh yeah, he does. He literally does. Or he's got a juggling ball.
Yeah, I mean, it's that stuff. It's right, like where you
Oh, okay.
where you just you keep contact with the ball the whole time, and
I definitely was imagining people beating the shit out of each other with the juggling implements.
oh yeah, no.
That exists
Juggling
too.
derby.
There is,
Yeah.
there
is a thing like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
battle juggling.
yeah.
It's really fun.
Okay, yeah, that's 100% what I had in
Just
mind.
Hit somebody in the face with a
They
ball.
use
I don't understand.
chainsaws.
The people, they have clubs and they juggle them, and you try and knock the other person's club out with your club.
Yes, I've
And
seen that.
People who are good at battle juggling, it's okay to watch. But the first rounds of a battle juggling tournament, where a guy like me figures like, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll just throw him in the air and then do a spin kick, and just falls and knocks the wind out of himself. The early rounds of battle juggling are up there in the top entertainment the good Lord has given us. All right. The Good Crabs asks, can you guys share a bunch of the best hate mail you get? Also, more stuff from crazy theists who think they'll change your mind or convert you. It nourishes me.
Can I go first?
Oh, please.
Sure, if you have hate mail, yeah.
The very first episode I did with you guys, immediately afterward, I got the weirdest email from somebody who wanted me to babysit their child.
What?
I've never gotten hate mail, but that one legitimately made me fear for my life, because it's like, these people know how to get a hold of me now.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty fucking weird, bro.
Yeah, that is.
I can
So
say I've never gotten that offer.
Yeah,
I have seen some weird things being a quasi-public trans person, and I've got nothing to compare with that.
Well, that's some creepy shit. I will say, we don't get a whole hell of a lot of hate mail. I will say, like, very early on, I think the first interview I ever did on the Scathing Atheist was with Justin Schieber. Used to be on the Reasonable Doubts podcast back when that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Great podcast.
Yes.
I really wish it was they had kept going. I think honestly we depressed them out of ever wanting to do it again, because they're like, we all know what we're talking about, and we actually read the shit, and these guys come on and make dick jokes and make way more money than us. This is bullshit. I mean, I'm fucking with it. They never tried to monetize their podcast to my knowledge, but at any rate, so Justin Schieber came on the show and he promoted the interview. We did an interview about whether or not it made sense to debate theists, to do public debate. What was the benefits and risks of that? And so he shared that around on some of his social media. And one of the first comments that somebody got gave was like, this guy's a pretty good interviewer, but like, man, fuck is just a crutch for him. He just, every third word is fuck and this and blah, blah, blah. And he's wrong about this and he's wrong about that. He's a complete asshole and this and that and the other. And fuck that guy. I can't believe you were on the show with him and everything else. And I commented on it. And I'm like, I guess from my position, I'm going to have to learn to read nothing but he's a pretty good interviewer, but.
Outstanding.
Oh, hate mail. I got some not fun hate mail. I will talk about my favorite hate mail, and we actually based a song about it. I don't know if those remember That's Why You're Queer. But we got a gentleman who wrote us what can only be described as a screed to the god-awful movies email years ago. And then for every paragraph, he would break the line and he would write in all caps, "That's why you're queer." And then he would keep talking, and then he would come back to "That's why you're queer." And I remember we made a literal song with quotes from that.
Just using exact quotes from that weird ass crazy bullshit email. Yeah.
That was wonderful. And we have a YouTube challenge, which I have left up on the channel because Tim found it and he was like, "Hey, should I keep this?" There's a guy who calls himself, I don't even remember what video it's on. He calls himself the Atheist Destroyer. And for 3 solid months, he only commented on the diatribes, and he would comment in conversation with timestamps to Noah. So it would be like Noah would say a thing in the diatribe, and then this guy would pause it and be like, "Oh yeah? Well, have you ever considered this?" And he called himself the Atheist Destroyer. And I remember Tim was like, "Hey, what do I do about this?" And I was like, invite him on the show. The April Fool's Day diatribe, we just dub in this guy's response.
Turns out it was Ken Ham. Ken Ham was that guy.
Right.
Now, Heath, you have recently had, shall I say, your first experiences with hate mail. Care to tell us how your journeys through Twitter have been over the past couple of months?
I have not gotten any hate mail. I have gotten a whole bunch of people lying and trying to pretend that they have a doctoral degree in political science and then really badly explaining something that they believe about politics so horribly. They weren't even spelling words correctly. And I was like, you don't have a doctorate in anything. You have a doctorate in 0 things. Nope. So stupid. I actually tested a couple of these people being like, okay, cool. Let's just get on chat really quick. I'll ask you and ask a couple basic political science questions. And it was like, yep, click. Okay, we're done. Yeah.
I must go. I'm on fire.
I gotta hate unsubscribe once. I got a Facebook message, and at first I didn't even understand what this person was saying. But it sent a timestamp and was like, ha ha ha, very funny, unsubscribe. And I was like, what is this? And to be honest, I don't even remember who I was making a joke about, but it was literally because I very offhand joked about punching someone in the face.
That sounds like David Smalley.
Like, it was just, yeah. I was like, okay. But I'm not name dropping this person because I got a message very recently saying like, yeah, that was a silly thing that I did, and I'm really sorry. And we talked and it's all fine. But it was just like, wow, that's what this is like, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And you can't punch David Smalley in the face. That's punching down. You're not supposed to.
That's true.
All right. Question from Rebecca for everyone. Given how everyone is indoors these days, what are your favorite locked-in films? Either mundane, for whatever reason, or horror, or any other genre. Just ones that keep people inside for funsies.
I'm a big fan of Be Cool. That's like it's a sequel, actually. It's a sequel to Get Shorty. That's like not highly important that you like watch them in order. But it's one of my favorite sequels, and I love that movie. Be Cool is really good. I watched it again kind of recently.
How does that keep people inside? What was
there? Is that a locked-in?
I was watching the movie indoors, like you do with most movies.
Got it.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. I was gonna. I mean, is there a particular characteristic of a movie that means that it keeps people indoors, aside from it being a movie and available to watch?
Yeah, like what am I supposed to say? Room? Like what the fuck?
Well, no, I thought that's what they were talking about, like movies like Dawn of the Dead or whatever, like where the movie is about people all being stuck inside.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good one.
Oh,
that's a good one.
That's how I heard the question too. Yeah.
Okay, fair. I mean, I've watched lots of like apocalyptic disaster movies, because I'm like a closet nihilist, I think maybe. I've watched 2012 a couple of times. I definitely watched, what's the
2012 with John Cusack?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Oh,
here's the thing.
Like a
Why
9-hour
did you do
movie.
that?
Here's the thing. This is a comment that I left, I think, on one of Noah's statuses. I know the difference between enjoying something and thinking it's good.
Okay.
I enjoy that movie. But also The Core. Does anybody remember The Core?
Yeah.
We did that one as a bonus
Familiar with The
episode
Core.
on GAM.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I watched that. Love it. Deep Impact.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a hell of a list.
Do you mean the
Yeah.
science documentary Deep Impact?
yes. Where oh god. Yeah. What was the movie where we get to watch Kevin Spacey die of a horrible disease?
Outbreak.
Outbreak. That one.
Twitter.
Yeah. Watch that one too.
Oh,
I want to throw this one out there for bad good, and I've considered putting it in the Spooktaculars a couple of times, and then something more Christian has come up. Devil, I believe it's by M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh
and it's
yeah,
the
where they're stuck in the elevator with Satan.
They're trapped in the
Oh, that's
elevator,
so
and one of
good.
them is Satan. Here's what I will say, because people are always like, I don't know if I want to watch it. The brilliant thing about that movie, brilliant in the bad way, thing about that movie is 4 seconds into the movie, it is obvious who Satan is. And the movie is an hour and a half long. So it's just a bunch of people being like, okay, so yes, Rick has horns, but you said the F word just now. So I think we're all squaresies. I don't know who the devil is in this elevator.
my wife went on a tear a couple weeks ago of watching shitty apocalyptic films, and the one
Wait, as opposed to the ones that Callie just listed? Or...
I was gonna say.
Okay, fair point. Dean Cain was in one called Volcano versus Airplane.
Yeah.
What?
And that
Yeah, we're doing that.
oh my god. Just that was the one we liked the most because it had like surprise death in the best ways.
Does the
And
volcano win? I feel like the volcano beats the airplane.
Yeah, it totally
I
does.
hope so.
Are you kidding? Totally wins.
It's a weird.
But yeah,
Like to set up in
no,
the
we
title.
watched a whole bunch of them. I can't remember the one that was too terrible for us to even make fun of, that wasn't any fun to watch because it was just horrible.
Eli, you remember Sharktopus versus Terracuda?
Oh yeah, I do. Sharktopus versus Barracuda. Sharktopus versus Snake. There's a bunch of them. There's
the one that I can't think of took place in LA, and it followed like 2 different scenes. There was one of it involved a canvas tent in an earthquake that was sliding down the side of the earthquake and totally fine. Like the inside of the tent was basically the old Star Trek series, We Just Got Hit, and they shake the camera back and forth. And the outside was like serious CG of a tent ripping down the side of a fracture in the earth. So they were not at all similar. And then on the other side of town, the main character's wife is a yoga instructor or something like that, and has 2 tons of concrete land on her leg, and has her 2 little daughters take a piece of rebar and lift it up off of her, and then walk away like it was nothing with a slight limp.
Wonderful.
All right, got one for you here, Noah. This is from Scott. Scott wants to know your thoughts on Detroit-style pizza. Is this a thing?
I have heard that it's a thing, but I'm not aware of what that would be. I mean, Detroit is the city that gave us Little Caesars and Domino's, so whatever, ungodly abomination holds the moniker Detroit-style pizza. I'm sure it's better than St. Louis-style pizza, but
It is. I'm sure.
Where does it rank in comparison to Cincinnati-style chili?
Well, it's probably better than that too. I mean, just like
OTR chili's good though. New place.
Almost all activities are better than slow death. So yeah, it's probably.
I don't know about St. Louis style pizza being better than slow death.
There's a St. Louis style pizza too. I haven't Detroit. I haven't heard of it either. That's ridiculous. Whatever.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
It's New York. New York is where pizza is from.
And Chicago has a style of pizza that isn't pizza. Yeah, but at least that's a unique thing. St. Louis and Detroit can go fuck themselves. They don't have
St. Louis puts a cracker down and puts tomato sauce or similar substitute on, and then uses this god-awful invented cheese that can only be bought here. That is a combination of provolone and 2 other, like a white cheddar and another cheese. And all St. Louis style pizza places use this Provel, is what they call it. And it's a completely synthetic cheese that was invented right after World War II. And that does not taste at all like mozzarella. It does not have any of the same chemical properties as mozzarella. And yet somehow all of the people in St. Louis it must be something in the water, that they absolutely love this weird ass cheese. And I almost never get it unless I have this weird hankering for it. But I don't know where the hell Provel came from.
Ersatz pizza. Great.
Yep.
Heath, we have some folks asking for the pasta on pizza story. Do you want to tell the taking Cecil for pasta on pizza story?
Well, no, I took him to an excellent pizza place. They're all over New York City. I happened to know one that was kind of close to where we did the live show in October. It was on 33rd and 3rd. Pizza 33, Brick Oven 33. Did you ever go there? Eli, perhaps? Noah? I don't know.
I mean, everybody.
Off the top of my head.
Super good pizza place. Anyway, we went there and got a bunch of pizza. Cecil loved it and pretended he didn't a little bit to do his thing. Whatever. He's a liar. It was amazing. It's better than all the pizza in all of Chicago by so much, but whatever. I got, just for me though, everybody else got, your standard thing. You get pizza, margarita or pepperoni or sausage or whatever. I got like 7 slices for myself, but one of them was a penne vodka slice, which is fucking amazing.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
It's a good thing called penne vodka, and it's on top of another good thing called New York pizza, which is like 2 of the best foods. And yeah, you can put them together. Of fucking course you can put them together. It's fantastic. So many people are weird about this and freaking out, and they know nothing. Those people are so ignorant. They have strong opinions about something that they're wildly ignorant about, which is like you're doing the ultimate Republican thing. You're a Republican if you don't agree with me about that.
Oh, excellent.
Okay. My wife in chat reminded me of the name of that movie. It's called Geo Disaster.
Oh, I've seen ads for that for sure. All right. One from John. This is for everybody. How old were you the first time you tried psychedelics, and what did you try?
Oh,
I bet. Okay, so right away, I'm gonna price this right, all of you motherfuckers. You guys go.
I'm gonna say $1 for Noah. 1 year.
$1.
No kidding.
Are you gonna price this right us for age? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. I was gonna let you guys go first. So, all right, I was 13 the first time I took acid, and it was like my buddy's older cousin thought he was gonna fuck with me with it, right? He thought he was gonna mess my world up or whatever, and I loved it. And it was the weird because we were out in the garage, and he says, "Hey, put this on your tongue," and I says, "What is it?" He says, "It tastes really sweet. Just put it under your tongue." And I put it under my tongue, and he says, "Just hold it there for a second. It takes a second to kick in." I'm like, "What is it, like a candy?" He's like, "Yeah." And then 2 minutes later, I was like, "It didn't work." He's like, "Just keep it there." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "It's LSD." And I'm like, "What's that?" And he goes, "It's acid, motherfucker." And he started laughing at me or whatever. And I asked my buddy, I'm like, "What is that?" Because I don't fucking know. I'm like 13 years old, and I'm barely 13 at the time. And he says, "It's like a drug. It's like a psychedelic." I'm like, "Oh, awesome." And I relaxed into that shit, and I tripped balls. I was spending the night at his house, and we had put a tent out in the backyard. And in retrospect, his parents were very obviously stoners. Now I didn't pick up on it back then, but so we had put a tent out in the backyard anyway. I was accountable to nobody, so I sat in the fucking garage tripping balls all day, going out and talking to my buddy David, telling him the kind of shit I was seeing and everything. And he was really jealous because his cousin didn't have any more acid. So yeah, that was mine.
Oh, I was in college, and it was salvia. Me and my roommate, and this was the moment where salvia was legal in New York State for a half a second. And so we went to one of the bong shops at St. Mark's Place, got a little thing of salvia, and we bought a little water pipe because you needed a water pipe to smoke it. The guy was like, "No, you need a water pipe to smoke it," which just now as those words are coming out of my mouth, I'm like, "Oh, I think the guy just tricked me into buying a water pipe." But I did it. So for those of you who don't know what salvia is, it's a super duper strong hallucinogenic that results in ego death. So there is no sense of I when you're on it. It's just images, but you're not like, "Oh, I am seeing these colors." It's just colors exist. So what I remember from my salvia trip is that I was one of the towers from Spirited Away, and I was very upset that the little girl wasn't there yet. And it lasts 10 minutes. So I and then I was glued to my desk for a second, and then I was like, that was fun. It was only 10 minutes. And my roommate, Jordan, who I love to this day very dearly, he was like, "All right, I'm going to do it. But the moment I do it, I want you to start doing magic for me." So I set up my little cups and balls and everything. And I was like, "Okay, let me know when it hits you." And he was like, "Okay." So he takes this big hit of the salvia and he pauses for a second. And he sort of looks back, and I go to reach for the cups, and he goes, "No!" Slaps all of the magic stuff off the table. It was really, really, really excellent.
I have not tried psychedelics.
Really?
It's not. I mean, I was like a straight edge kid when I was in high school.
Right. Yeah, you were
certainly fucking not anymore. Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't super Christian. It was like hardcore music, like straight edge lifestyle. But no, I'm very interested to try. just have not had the opportunity yet.
Yeah, try it somewhere where you feel safe with somebody you feel safe with, and who has done it several times before.
Yeah,
that's the
Or
only advice I give.
apparently as a prank. It also works out. Be tricked into it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the reason why I haven't, because like I'm sure I could probably find like, you know, friend of a friend 4 times removed that could hook me up and get me some or whatever. But like I've heard stories and I want to make sure that I like trust someone and that kind of stuff. And so
yeah. And good to have a Sherpa. Yeah, for sure.
Heath?
Yeah.
I was 18, freshman year of college. Ate a bunch of mushrooms and like definitely more than you're supposed to. I don't know. I was new. We had me and 3 friends, and we were like, all right, we'll just eat this bag that we had an ounce of mushrooms, and we split an ounce of mushrooms.
Oh my God.
It's a bad idea.
And you were doing Cubensis. These were like just.
Don't even remember which type. Yeah.
Almost certainly Cubensis then. Yeah.
Okay.
Like just standard shroom are usually.
Psilocybin was the chemical, I believe, that I was putting into my stupid face.
That's the chemical.
So I saw in the comments Patreon goal for you guys to get me on. So I'm just
that'd be a lot of fucking fun, to be honest with you. So here's the thing for me is that I did acid a couple of times. So after I did the acid the first time, I went to my buddy's cousin and I'm like, hey man, you know, how much is that shit? You know, but then I moved from like a year later, I moved from Detroit to this little town in South Georgia where you're not going to find any fucking acid. You know, you could find weed maybe, but even that was really difficult. But psilocybin cubensis just grow wild up in this motherfucker. So, you know, so for about 3 years, that was my thing is I went shrooming in the local cow fields. I could probably still take you to a good shrooming field in this town.
Oh, where you can just pick it right out of the shit?
Yeah, exactly.
Where you get it for free?
Yeah, if you go in you go, you know, whatever day after it rains, especially like in like October, November or whatever. And yeah, you know, good.
Nice.
I'm not gonna give any more advice on this actually, because Andrew, somewhere Andrew's freaking right the fuck out. So
that sounds
safe to
fun.
travel again. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. We ate all those mushrooms. We went out into the woods. It was winterish. I think it was like halfway through the first year of college. So yeah, sometimes it was pretty fucking cold. There was snow on the ground. Beautiful though. There's like this cool forest with like ice all over everything. Beautiful scenery and everything. But it was a lot. Pretty much all I remember is singing A Whole New World from Aladdin at the top of my lungs. I don't know if everybody else was singing with me or not, but we did the whole score eventually, I think, in my head of Aladdin. And then the other thing I remember is just afterwards. So, you know, you eventually come down and you go to sleep eventually. You wake up and then you have to like live your fucking life. I'm like a college student. I have to like go do things like study fucking math. So I'm trying to do that for 3-4 weeks afterwards, though. It made me feel really weird. I was just like, this all isn't real. I know now. This is all bullshit. Sobriety is the fucking Ponzi scheme. I know I'm getting back out of this as soon as I can. And I did a whole bunch of getting back out of it when I got a chance. Yeah, it's a fun drug. Never as fun as the first handful of times I did it, though. It kind of like lost its marginal value.
And way, in my experience, way worse as you get older. Like, because tripping when you're young, because your brain is just this tiny sponge made out of hopes and dreams. And as an adult, truly, with the exceptions of when I get high with Noah and Heath and Callie, the people on this call, with the exceptions of when I get high with the people on this call, every time I do any drug now, I go, what am I doing? We got a bonus scam this week.
Yeah, I can't imagine having time for psychedelics at this point in my life. You got to have a day, an entire night to dedicate to the thing, and then an entire at least morning and afternoon to dedicate to recovery. And by the way, Mikey, I haven't given a fucking exhaustive list of all the psychedelics I've done. Yes, DMD. Yes, fuck. Yes. Mikey's over here just shouting DMD. I'm like, yeah. No, I'm with you, but we're not going to just do the list alphabetically here.
Also, as you become an adult, you lose your guy, right? Like as an adult.
Well,
I still have a guy.
I still have.
I've switched phones like 3 times and been like, no, I'm keeping that one. I'm keeping it just in case. Just in case. He's got a bunch of good drugs. I'm in New York City every so often. Like he's got all the drugs. I'm keeping that phone number. Yeah.
All right. Well, Final question. You will not be here for me poutily yelling about Heath giving me that phone number. All right. Last question. This is from Rebecca. Great question. How does one foster atheism or just non-theist thought for the younger generation when they're surrounded by theists, especially theists who are actively trying to promote their ideology in them? My sister's kids are smart and curious and know I'm an atheist and what that means, but they're surrounded by theists, especially their grandmothers who push Christianity like it's Coke. I want to help them think outside religion, but I'm not sure exactly how besides being open to questions and to point out that there are other options in my own lack of faith. Any thoughts are appreciated.
Honestly, I'm just going to say it like the obvious answer here and preempt everybody else from getting that one, but just sell them on science. And it sounds like you already know that, because like eventually they're going to realize, as I think I did growing up, that there's one person who doesn't bullshit them when they ask questions about things like hard questions. You can be that one person for them, and kids notice that. And outside of that, just foster a love of science, because that's something that the Christians in their lives are not going to. You're sneaking it in. You're sneaking in the atheism there, and generally speaking, they're not going to object to you bringing science into the kids' lives.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of pointing out, like, there are lots of people who get really worried about, like, well, I don't want to indoctrinate my kids into atheism the way I was indoctrinated into Christianity, and I get that. But that doesn't mean that you can't tell your kids what you actually think is real and not about the world too. Like, you don't have to push it on them and say, this is what you have to think and this is what you have to believe. But like, generally speaking, parents look up to their kids kids look up to their parents and look up to their parents for answers on things. And like, it is totally okay to be like, yeah, I don't think this is real. And here's why I don't think this is real. Ask questions, look it up, but
yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree that there's way too much sweating about indoctrinating your kids with atheism. Tell your kids the fucking truth. You don't also give them the homeopathy version when they ask you how colds happen, right? Giving them the religious version, telling them to make up their own mind about that is basically the same thing from a philosophical point of view as being like, well, you asked about the age of the earth. There are some who believe this and there are some who believe that. No, there's also a correct fucking answer, and there's no reason why you can't tell your children the correct answer.
Yeah.
And as someone with a child who I have actually seen comment in chat.
Yeah, you're the only one who should really be answering this fucking question. No, really. Honestly, though, yeah. Sorry to like make you have to cut in at this.
No, you're fine. Noah explained exactly what we did. He actually started at a Christian elementary school, and he would come home with questions, and my wife and I would just sit down and explain like where the answers that he heard in class came from, and then where the answers that we had came from in science. And he's always been super interested in science. So when he said, when he heard, oh, so the science reason makes more sense than the reason that they told us in class. And I said, did they give you any supporting evidence for the thing that they told you in class? Did they show you how or why? And his answer was no. They never told us why. They just said that this is what it was. And I said, well, I can walk you through why. And I'm sure a lot of his memories are of conversations that my wife and I, either independently or both of us together in the car with him, would have about things like, why is the sky blue? Where do rainbows come from? Even on up to the more complicated questions now of like things about existence, things about cognitive thought, things about physics and chemistry and whatnot. We fostered a love of that very early on for him, and that overcame the indoctrination that he was given. And all it takes is getting a child to think for him or herself, and that's it. That's all you really need to do.
Hell yeah, man. Well said. Well said. Heath, do you have any thoughts on the question?
I do not.
All right, so somebody in the chat pointed this out. If you haven't already given us a thumbs up on this, that the little tiny thumb would represent loving Eli's baby in advance, because it's got a little tiny thumb too. So if you don't give us a thumbs up, it's basically you're telling Eli that you hate his
That's
child.
True. That's
yeah. So I would not want to ask Anna to walk upstairs, Eli, if if she otherwise wasn't going to. But since this might be our last, I was hoping she might be nearby and be able to say, wave everybody off or something. But if she's not, or in no mood to step in front of a camera unexpectedly, I understand as well.
I think she's downstairs. Let me give me 1 second. Let me check.
Yes, I sent the message to Lucinda. I think she might still be on the chat here and everything. I know we've gone a little bit longer, but because this might be our last one. Yeah, somebody gave it a fucking
slowly but
thumbs
surely.
Down. I think, honestly, I think Andrea gave us a thumbs down when we were talking about superheroes too much.
Oh, Jesus.
You know what? Andrea, that's fair. Tough but fair, Andrea.
It might have been my son who wanted Eli to shut up.
Okay, yeah, no, that's entirely possible too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but I really want to thank everybody who's been hanging out with us through these live streams. You guys have been keeping us company as much as we've been keeping you company. We really, really appreciate it. Love you dearly. It's about 107 degrees in my office right now. Normally I would be like basically naked recording in this heat and shit. But for you guys, I kept clothes on.
That sounds reverse.
Well, hey, I owe them my honesty. And oh my God, you're so close.
Oh my God, it's so beautiful.
I can't wait.
Oh, so we're talking like matter of days, right?
Yep. May 22nd is the due date.
Yeah, that's right.
So, hi, and I can hear us now.
I can hear you all. Eli can't anymore.
That's okay. We can talk bad about him now.
It's okay. Little Max. I can't wait to meet him.
Thank you for making it up the stairs.
I did. I made it. Yeah. All right. I miss you all.
Yeah, Anna, thank you so much. Thank you for coming up.
We love you.
Lucinda came up to say goodbye and to see you guys off as well.
Now it's time to say goodbye.
But like I said, really,
family.
really want to thank everybody who's hung out with us. Callie, I want to thank you so much for helping us through all of these. You've been great. Couldn't have done well. We could have done it without you, and it would have been really fucked up, and it would have been shitty, and I would have been angry every goddamn week. Yeah. So I'm really glad that you helped us out with this, Don. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Everybody that was in the chat, thanks so much. And remember, I'm still looking for titles for the book. So got ideas, feel free to shoot them to me on Facebook or throw me an email or what have you. But until next time.
Love you guys. Mwah. Bye.